Today we'll be learning about the reactions between metals and acids and how catalysts affect those reactions. When we add a metal to an acid, we always produce a salt and hydrogen gas. Today we'll be using zinc as our metal and sulfuric acid as our acid. When zinc's added to sulfuric acid, the salt produced is zinc sulfate, and of course hydrogen gas is produced. In our first experiment, we'll only be adding zinc to sulfuric acid, and we'll be measuring how long it takes to produce 10 centimeter cubed of hydrogen gas. In our second experiment, we'll be using copper as a catalyst. So we'll be adding zinc and copper to sulfuric acid, and also measuring how long it takes to produce 10 centimeter cubed of hydrogen gas. In our third and last experiment, we'll be using nickel as a catalyst, and measuring the time it takes to collect 10 centimeter cubed of hydrogen gas. Now, as copper and nickel are catalysts, they are not in the reactants or products of the reaction. If we were going to show a catalyst in a reaction, we would put it above the arrow, as it is not used up in the reaction, but speeds up the reaction by providing an alternate pathway to the products by lowering the activation energy. So here, I have an inverted measuring cylinder that's filled with water. I will put the zinc and sulfuric acid in my test tube, and then I'll put the rubber bung connected to the tubing on top, so that all of the gas produced will transfer into my inverted measuring cylinder. And when the gas goes in, it will displace the water, so the water will come out. So, I'll begin by taking one piece of zinc. As you can see, zinc here is a metal, and it's not a very reactive metal, so it's fine to touch with our hands. Sulfuric acid, on the other hand, is a very corrosive acid. So with this, I must use a pipette to remove it from its bottle so that I can measure it in my measuring cylinder. Be measuring exactly 1 centimeter cubed of the sulfuric acid for every test, so I can use that as a control variable. Now, as soon as I add my acid to the zinc, I will have to start the timer to time how long it takes to produce 10 centimeter cubed of gas. So you can see very small bubbles of gas are being produced. Now this is producing gas at such a slow rate, it will probably take 30 minutes to produce 10 centimeter cubed of gas, as right now there's only very, very small bubbles of gas that are being produced. Now, just so this video doesn't take over an hour, I will end this test here, and it will probably take over 30 minutes. Now, I'll dispose of my reactants. They'll get a clean measuring cylinder and add another piece of zinc to it. Now, in reality, there's only a very, very few small bubbles of gas in here, so I do not need to replace the water, as it will still be easy to see 10 centimeter cubed of gas collected. So once again, we'll take a piece of zinc, add it to my test tube, but this time I will use copper as a catalyst. Adding one spatula full of copper. Now, once again, I'll measure 1 centimeter cubed of the acid. We always measure liquids and aqueous solutions using a measuring cylinder. I'm using 1 centimeter cubed exactly of sulfuric acid every time as a control variable. As we can see, this is reacting quite a bit faster. It is producing bubbles much quicker than when added with zinc alone. We're now approaching 30 seconds, and we've collected about 0.4 centimeter cubes of gas. So we can see that the copper is acting as a catalyst. It's speeding up the reaction, but it's not getting used up in the reaction itself. So the copper can be used over and over again as a catalyst. We're almost at 10 centimeter cubed of gas now. Should only take about another 10 to 15 seconds. It's important to have your eye level at the meniscus, as I can see now, so I can clearly see when the gas gets to exactly 10 centimeter cubed. Okay, the gas is now exactly at 10 centimeter cubed, and that took 1 minute and 22 seconds. Now, dispose of my reaction mixture. As you can see, the copper is still orange in color. As it is not chemically changed, it merely acted as a catalyst. For my last test, I will once again be adding zinc metal, but this time I'm going to use nickel as a catalyst instead of copper. Now, as I added 1 spatula of copper, I will also add 1 spatula of nickel. We'll also, once again, use my pipette to remove the sulfuric acid from its container and measure 1 centimeter cubed of the acid in my measuring cylinder. Now it's important I refill my measuring cylinder with water so that I can see the gas displace. Just as before, as soon as I add my acid, I will have to start my timer. This is reacting very vigorously, and as you can see, it's produced 10 centimeters cubed of gas in, well, less than 1 second. So I'm just going to put here 1 second. The zinc is reacting very vigorously with the acid when nickel is used as a catalyst. Based on these results, we can see catalysts increase the rate of reaction. Now, some catalysts increase the rate of reaction much faster than others.